Welcome back to Page of Strange, where the unexplained lingers and the truth hides in the shadows. Tonight's story takes us to the quiet heartland of America, to a neat little home in Springfield, Missouri, where three women walked in one night in 1992 and were never seen again. No signs of struggle, no forced entry, no bodies, no answers. This is the chilling mystery of the Springfield Three. Turn the lights down and let's begin. Springfield, Missouri, June 7th, 1992. It was supposed to be a celebration. 18-year-old Susie Streeter had just graduated from high school. Her best friend, Stacy McCall, had celebrated with her that evening. They attended graduation parties surrounded by laughter, friends, and the promise of adulthood. Susie lived with her mother, Sherry Levitt, a 47-year-old hairdresser, described as vibrant, independent, and protective of her daughter. Sherry had been home that night waiting for Susie to return. By 2 a.m., Susie and Stacy left a friend's house and drove back to Susie's home on East Delmar Street. They made it safely. That much we know, because their cars were parked neatly in the driveway the next morning. But by sunrise, something was wrong. On June 8th, friends tried calling the house. No answer. Concerned, two friends drove over to check on them. They weren't prepared for what they would find. The front door was unlocked. Inside, nothing looked violently disturbed. The television was on. Lights were still glowing softly. Personal belongings were scattered in ordinary places. Susie's purse sat on the floor. Stacy's clothes were folded neatly. Nearby, Sherry's cigarettes and lighter rested calmly on the kitchen counter. All three women's cars were parked outside. Their keys were inside, and the family dog, a small Yorkshire Terrier, was running loose in the house. But Susie, Stacy, and Sherry were gone. Just gone. Friends tidied up slightly while searching unknowingly, disturbing what could have been a crime scene. One friend even swept up broken glass from the front porch light, assuming it had simply fallen. Investigators will realize that glass might have been shattered deliberately. But by then, it was too late. Police arrived. There were no signs of forced entry. No overturned furniture. No blood. No defensive wounds left behind. The beds were made. The house was eerily calm. It didn't look like three people had been abducted. It looked like three people had simply vanished. The case will become known nationwide as the Springfield Three. And nearly 3 decades later, it remains unsolved. One detail still unsettles investigators. There was a strange message left on the answering machine. Friends reported hearing a bizarre, possibly obscene voicemail when they first entered the home. It was deleted before police could hear it. To this day, no one knows who left that message or what it said. Was it a prank? Or was it the last trace of someone who knew exactly what had happened? No bodies, no evidence. Unlike many missing person cases, this one left almost nothing behind. No financial activity from the women, no confirmed sightings, no credible ransom demands. All three women disappeared without taking their purses. Susie and Cece left behind their cars and graduation gifts. Sherry left behind everything. It was as if they had expected to return within minutes. But they never did. Over the years, countless stories have emerged. Some believe the women were abducted by someone they knew, someone they trusted enough to open the door to. Others think it may have been a random predator who saw an opportunity. One of the most discussed persons of interest was a man named Robert Craig Cox, a convicted kidnapper who had once lived in Springfield. He later claimed he knew what happened to the women, but refused to speak unless his mother had passed away. His mother died in 2021. Cox has never confessed, and investigators have never been able to connect him definitely to the crime. Then there are darker rumors, whispers of organized crime, whispers of drug connections, whispers of a burial site beneath a parking garage built shortly after the disappearance. In 2007, investigators even searched a hospital parking garage after receiving a tip that the woman's body had been buried beneath the concrete foundation. Ground-penetrating radar was used. Nothing was found. The scene that haunts investigators. What makes this case so chilling isn't what was found. It's what wasn't. 3 adult women in a residential neighborhood. No noise reported. No witnesses seeing a struggle. No signs of forced entry. If this was an abduction, it would have required control, speed, and terrifying precision. And if the women left voluntarily, why leave everything behind? Springfield was shaking. This wasn't a big city disappearance. This was suburban Missouri. Neighbors still remember helicopters circling overhead, flyers plastered across town, parents gripping their children a little tighter, because if 3 women could disappear from a quiet home in the middle of the night, anyone could. Sherry's son, Bart Streeter, has spent decades searching for answers about someone in Springfield knows the truth. Someone who has stayed silent for over 30 years. Imagine living with that. No funeral, no goodbye, No confirmation. Just waiting. Waiting for a knock at the door that never comes. Did someone lure them outside one by one? Were they forced into a vehicle at gunpoint? Did something happen earlier that night at the graduation parties? Was it someone watching the house? Or was it something far more calculated? 3 women, 1 house, 0 answers. Time hasn't erased this mystery. It has only deepened it. Evidence fades. Memories blur. Witnesses move away or pass on. But the question remains suspended in the humid Missouri air. What happened inside that house on East Delmar Street? And how does something like that happen without a trace? Sometimes the most frightening mysteries aren't the ones filled with blood or violence. Sometimes it's the quiet ones, the untouched coffee cup. The dog was waiting by the door. The car still in the driveway. The sense that life was interrupted mid-breath. And somewhere out there, the truth still exists. Hidden, buried, or locked inside. Or locked inside someone's conscience. You've just listened to the story of the Springfield Three, one of America's most haunting, unsolved disappearances. If you found this story chilling, thought-provoking, or simply strange, make sure you subscribe to Page of Strange, where we uncover the mysteries that refuse to fade. Comment below with your theory. Do you think this was someone they knew? Or something far more sinister? Until next time, stay curious, stay cautious, and remember, some doors once opened never truly close. This has been Page of Strange. See you on my next video.